It's a normal night. Nothing dramatic. Nothing obviously broken. You're sitting next to her on the couch. The TV is on, but neither of you is really watching. Her legs are tucked under a blanket. Your phone is in your hand. She laughs at something on her screen for half a second, then goes quiet again. You glance over. She's not angry. She's not cold. She's just somewhere else. And that's what unsettles you. Not a fight. Not distance you can point to. Just that strange, flat quiet that makes you feel like the two of you are in the same room, but not in the same relationship. And in your head, it sounds like this. What is this? Why does this feel off? I'm here. I'm loyal. I'm trying. So why does she feel farther away? Is this just what happens? Am I missing something? Am I the problem, even if I'm not doing anything wrong? Here's the truth most people never hear. She doesn't feel bored because you're failing. She feels bored because the relationship stopped feeling alive. That's a very different problem, and honestly, it's a much more fixable one. You're not failing at love. This is not proof you chose the wrong person. Every couple that has ever loved each other long enough has stood in some version of this exact moment. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why boredom shows up even in good relationships, what she's actually feeling beneath the surface, and how to bring back connection, safety, and aliveness without pretending to be someone you're not. Let's get into it. Most couples believe boredom means the chemistry is gone, the spark faded, or one person simply wants too much. But the real truth is this. Boredom in a relationship is often what disconnection feels like when it gets quiet enough to stop looking like a problem. That's why it's so confusing. There's no cheating, no betrayal, no obvious explosion, just drift. And drift is sneaky. It happens beneath the surface. Most people think if there's no conflict, things must be fine. But your partner's nervous system is reading the relationship long before either of you has the words for what feels off. It's reading for presence. It's reading for responsiveness. It's reading for whether love still feels emotionally available, or whether it's become routine with a heartbeat. When safety leaves a relationship, love doesn't always disappear. Sometimes it goes underground. And here's the part no one talks about. Safety is not just loyalty. Safety is not just being physically there. Safety is the feeling that when she reaches for you emotionally, there is actually a you there to reach. That's attachment. That's bonding. That's why trying harder in the same emotional tone often makes nothing better. If the relationship has become all logistics, all predictability, all maintenance, then her nervous system can start experiencing the connection like a room with no oxygen. Not dangerous. Not abusive, just airless. And when that happens, she doesn't always say, I miss emotional attunement and shared novelty. She says what most people say, I don't know, I'm just bored. So if you've been hearing that and feeling confused, man, don't miss this. The goal is not to become more impressive. The goal is to become more present, more real, and more emotionally reachable. And that changes everything. 1. Predictable is not the same as connected. Most couples fall into this without even noticing. They build a stable life, repeat the same rhythm, have the same conversations, and assume consistency automatically creates connection. It makes sense why. Stability feels mature. Predictability feels safe. But most people in relationships confuse familiarity with intimacy, and those are not the same thing. Here's the deeper truth. Her nervous system does not bond to your routine. It bonds to your presence inside the routine. If every day feels emotionally identical, she can start feeling like she already knows exactly what version of you she's going to get before you even open your mouth. No surprise, no curiosity, no turning toward. And when there's no emotional movement, boredom starts creeping in like dust in a room nobody opens anymore. He feels confused because he's steady. She feels flat because steadiness without aliveness can start to feel emotionally blank. Look at the difference. The disconnecting version sounds like this. How was your day? Fine. You good? Yeah. Cool. The connecting version sounds like this. How was your day? Fine. You say fine like you're still carrying something. What happened? I don't know. That meeting messed with me. Talk to me. I'm here. Same evening, very different relationship. Most couples stay on the surface because the surface is efficient. But connection is not built through efficiency. It's built through contact. Real contact. The kind that makes her brain quietly register. He's not just beside me right now. He's actually with me. And when you do that, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. 2. She doesn't want to be managed. She wants to be met. Here's the part no one talks about. Most couples think support means solving. So she says she feels off, overwhelmed, disconnected, or weirdly numb. And most people in relationships rush straight into management mode. Plan a trip, fix the schedule, suggest the solution, offer advice, try harder. It comes from good intentions. It really does. But most couples don't realize that being emotionally managed can feel incredibly lonely when what you're craving is to be emotionally met. Because beneath the surface, she's not always asking, "Can you fix this?" A lot of the time, she's asking, "Can you stay with me in this?" That's a nervous system thing. When someone feels unsettled, their body is looking for co-regulation before strategy, presence before problem solving. If she feels something heavy and you immediately move into action, her unspoken experience can become, "He's responding to the situation, but not to me." And then he feels unappreciated because he's trying. She feels even more withdrawn because she still feels alone inside the trying. Listen to the contrast. The disconnecting version. "I don't know, I've just been feeling weird lately." Well, maybe you need to get out more. Let's book something this weekend. The connecting version. "I don't know, I've just been feeling weird lately." Come here, don't rush it. What kind of weird? I don't even know how to explain it. You don't have to explain it perfectly. I just want to understand where you are. Not a hack, not a script, not a trick to avoid conflict. This is just what emotionally mature love starts to look like. When you stop trying to perform support and start becoming someone who can actually hold another person's inner world. And that's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. 3. When you stop revealing yourself, the relationship stops discovering you. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples think boredom means one person lost attraction, but a lot of the time, the attraction didn't die. The discovery did. Most people in relationships slowly become roles: provider, planner, problem solver, teammate, co-parent, roommate with benefits. And once that happens, the relationship stops feeling like two inner worlds meeting and starts feeling like two functions cooperating. Here's the deeper emotional truth. People stay connected to what they can still feel unfolding. If she hasn't heard a new thought from you in months, if you never name what you're afraid of, what you're dreaming about, what you're wrestling with, what's changing inside you, then she may still respect you, care about you, even love you, but she no longer feels like she's in contact with something living and becoming. And that matters more than most couples realize. Because mystery is not secrecy, it's depth. It's the feeling that there is still more of you to know. The disconnecting version sounds like this. "How was work?" "Annoying. Same stuff." "Oh, yeah." The connecting version sounds like this. "How was work?" "Honestly, I handled it, but if I'm being real, I felt like I'm sleepwalking lately. Like I've been showing up for everything except my own life." "Wow, I didn't know you felt that way." "Yeah, I don't think I've said it out loud yet." And suddenly something in her is saying, "There you are." Most couples wait for big confessions, but intimacy isn't built in the giant moments. It's built in the 30-second ones, when you let someone see the unpolished, still forming part of you. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels repetitive into one that feels alive again. 4. A relationship can die under perfect logistics. And here's what changes everything. Most couples become excellent at running a life together and quietly terrible at experiencing one together. Bills get paid, groceries get bought, plans get handled, texts get answered. The machine works. But emotionally, something starts drying out. Most people in relationships don't notice when every interaction becomes transactional because it looks responsible from the outside. Who's cooking? Who's driving? What time are we leaving? Did you call them back? Can you grab that on the way home? Real life matters, of course. But when your partner mainly experiences you as a manager of shared responsibilities, her nervous system starts associating the relationship with maintenance instead of aliveness. Not expensive vacations, not a fancy date night. Not one more relationship podcast playing in the car, but small moments of shared novelty, small moments of play, small moments of turning toward life together. Watch the difference. The disconnecting version. You want to just order the usual? Sure. Same show? Yeah. The connecting version. Let's not do autopilot tonight. What do you mean? Come with me. 10-minute walk, no phones. I want to ask you a question I haven't asked in years. Okay, like what? What have you been pretending not to want lately? Bro, that changes the temperature of a relationship fast. Most couples think connection has to be scheduled, like a meeting. But connection is more like a fire. It doesn't need a giant log every time. It needs oxygen. That's when the room between you starts feeling breathable again instead of emotionally sealed shut. 5. She wants to feel seen, not just appreciated. Here's the one most couples never figure out. Appreciation is good. Being seen is deeper. Most people in relationships praise what their partner does. Thanks for dinner. Thanks for helping. Thanks for handling that. And don't get me wrong, that matters. But most couples stop short of naming who their partner is becoming, what they're carrying, and what they can sense beneath the surface. And that's where a lot of emotional hunger lives. Because when she feels invisible in her inner world, boredom can be the label she gives to a deeper ache she doesn't know how to name. Not, you don't help enough, but I miss being deeply noticed by you. Attachment-wise, being seen is regulating. It tells the nervous system, I exist here, I matter here, I don't have to perform to be felt. And if she hasn't felt that in a long time, she may become more critical, more distant, or more flat. Not because she wants drama, but because something in her is starving for contact. Listen to this contrast. The disconnecting version. Thanks for making dinner. No problem. The connecting version. Thank you for dinner, but honestly, that's not the main thing. What do you mean? I see how much you've been carrying lately, and you still keep showing up with so much care. I don't say this enough, but I notice you. That lands differently, way differently. And her inner voice starts whispering, he actually sees me this time. Most couples think love is proven through reliability alone, but real connection also needs witness. It needs language. It needs those moments where someone feels emotionally touched, not just functionally valued. And when you do that, she stops feeling like another part of your routine and starts feeling chosen again. 6. Too much peace can become emotional silence. But here's what nobody explains. Not all calm is connection. Sometimes calm is just avoidance with good manners. Most couples are so afraid of conflict, tension, awkwardness, or saying the wrong thing that they slowly start sanding down every real edge in the relationship. They keep it polite, keep it easy, keep it fine. And over time, the connection gets smoother and thinner at the same time. No friction, no honesty, no real encounter. That's why boredom can show up in relationships that look healthy from the outside. Because underneath the peace, one or both people have gone emotionally quiet. Not louder conversations, not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, but two people who feel safe enough to tell the truth. That's the difference. Most people in relationships think honesty threatens connection, but the real truth is carefully edited honesty is what slowly starves it. Your nervous system in conflict is like a smoke detector. It cannot tell the difference between emotional risk and actual danger, so it sounds the alarm either way. Which means if you've learned to avoid discomfort, you'll call emotional flatness peace and never notice what it's costing you. Here's the contrast. The disconnecting version. Are we okay? Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't we be? I don't know. You just feel far. I'm just tired. The connecting version. Are we okay? Honestly, on paper, yes. But if I'm being real, I think we've both been hiding in routines. I miss us. I miss feeling you with me. Yeah, I miss that too. That is not weakness. That is emotional availability. This isn't a communication hack. This is what it looks like when someone has learned to love without disappearing behind performance. And that's when a relationship stops feeling like a museum, quiet, preserved, untouched, and starts feeling real again. 7. Boredom is often grief wearing a smaller name. And this is the one you really need to hear. Most couples hear "I'm bored" and think accusation. But a lot of the time, boredom is grief in a quieter voice. She may not be saying, "You're not enough." She may be saying, "I miss us. I miss me. I miss the version of this that felt warm, open, and alive. I miss feeling reached for." That's why the comment can sting so much. He hears criticism. She feels longing. He gets defensive because he's been doing his best. She gets more withdrawn because the deeper message still hasn't landed. And the cycle keeps feeding itself. Most people in relationships respond to boredom like it's a verdict, but it's usually a signal that something unspoken has been sitting between you too long. Look at the two paths. The disconnecting version. I don't know, everything just feels the same lately. So what, I'm not enough now? That's not what I said. Then what are you saying? Forget it. The connecting version. I don't know, everything just feels the same lately. When you say that, it sounds less like you're attacking me and more like you're lonely in this with me. Is that true? Yeah, that's actually exactly it. Okay, then let's not minimize that. I want to find you again. And right there, something in her starts to soften. Something in him starts to understand. Something between them starts to repair. Most couples wait until resentment becomes concrete. But repair works best when you catch the ache while it's still tender. That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a slow drift into one that feels like a refuge worth rebuilding. So no, this was never just about her being bored. And it was never just about you doing something wrong. It was about aliveness. It was about presence. It was about whether love still felt emotionally reachable in the small, ordinary moments where relationships either deepen or quietly drift. This isn't a checklist. It's an invitation. An invitation to become the kind of partner who doesn't just stay loyal, but stays awake. Who doesn't just avoid damage, but creates connection. Who understands that real intimacy is not built by never messing up. It's built by being present enough to notice when something sacred between you has gone quiet, and brave enough to turn toward it before it hardens into distance. When you internalize this, you stop reacting and start responding. You stop defending yourself and start hearing the longing beneath the words. And your partner will feel that shift before you've even explained it. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They're the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wished love would bring into your life.
And here's the mic drop truth. She doesn't need a more perfect version of you. She needs a more present one. If this hit home, drop a comment with the word present so you know exactly where the real work starts. And if you want more videos like this, the kind that actually get beneath the surface and help you build something real, make sure you stick around. Because love doesn't usually disappear all at once. It drifts when nobody notices, and it comes back when somebody finally does.